Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we're going to make a beautiful multi-strand bracelet, or necklace, I'm sorry, not a bracelet, a necklace, using products from GGC's treasure bag. So first of all, our encouraging word for today is if you're tired of starting over, don't give up. That's a good one, right? So GGC's treasure bag, it is not a subscription box. It is a bi-monthly, sort of, it's not strictly bi-monthly, but usually around bi-monthly. Bag full of goodies. And I'm telling you, I will link the unboxing and the other necklace that we made using this bag, and you can see the quality and the quantity of things you get in this bag. It is just amazing. It sells out very quickly, and this one is actually sold out. But if you want to sign up for notifications so you'll know when the next one is available, you can go to ggcstreasures.com. So this bag, check out the unboxing and you'll see the details, but it's a bag of full strands of beads, and you get just an amazing amount of things in this bag, and they're beautiful, and they all coordinate, and that's the wonderful thing. You know how sometimes you get a bag and it'll have all these strands that coordinate and then one that just doesn't fit? Not this bag. This bag, they all coordinate, so it's really nice. You can use everything with everything else. Okay, so I'm going to show you what we are going to be using today. So we're using 2 of these chandelier rhombus pieces here. These are gorgeous, and we're going to make a multi-strand necklace using them. I have 2 pieces of fairy silk or sari silk, however you want to say this. You do not have to have this. You could use chain. You could use a ribbon. You could use anything that you have. But I really liked the color of this with these beads. I thought it matched really well, and I just love the shabby chic kind of boho look. So this is what we're going to use up the back of our necklace, okay? And like I said, you can use chain, you can use ribbon, you can use anything that you've got. You could use lace, just anything. We're going to be using some of these really pretty turquoise beads, these little turquoise rounds, okay? We are going to be using these beautiful triangle, shimmery, sparkly, gorgeous little things here. We're going to use some of these really pretty twist beads. I love these. They almost look like they're fiber optic inside. They are so pretty. We're going to be using some of those. We're going to be using, let me move, I don't know why I put those turquoise beads up there. Okay, we're going to be using these little circle dot beads, and if you can see, they have a matte side and a shiny side, and the shiny side is flat. They're really, really cool. Really cool little beads there. We are going to be using some of this crackled, oh, I can't remember, I need to get my sheet out to see what these are called. There are so many beads in this box, you guys. I mean, it's just unbelievable, but these are like a crackled glass drawbench kind of bead. They're really, really cool. These are one of my favorite things in the box. We're going to be using these rice beads, really sparkly and beautiful little silver rice beads. We're going to be using these gorgeous electroplated, these are like a deep teal. They are so pretty. These are all my favorite colors right here. I love all these blues. And then we're going to use some of these drawbench painted oval beads. Okay, we're going to use some of the chain from the box. I love this chain. It is so pretty. It's a gunmetal, like fancy kind of textured, really pretty chain. We may use the toggle. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to make this a tie-back necklace or use a clasp. We may use the clasp. We'll see. We're going to use this beautiful pendant that was in there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? We will probably need a couple head pins and some eye pins. I'm kind of just going to see how this comes together, but probably some head pins and some eye pins. I do have some 2x2 crimp tubes here in a gunmetal. And I have some 5mm wire guardians. Okay. And I have some 7-strand bead stringing wire. And here it is. And you're going to need several pieces of this, and I just have a silver color. I have some little 4mm jump rings right here. Little tiny 4mm jump rings, and I have some 6mm 5-petal little bead caps. tips. Okay. And that's everything, I think, plus your jewelry tools. And I will be using today my 2 pairs of tweezer nose pliers, my cutter, and my chain nose or round nose pliers. So these round nose pliers are by Beadalon. They're some of my favorites because they have a very tiny tip. These cutters are by, I never can remember, Quality Hand Tools. I love them. They're awesome. And these are Xuron tweezer nose, chain nose pliers. All right, so that's what we're going to be using. Okay, so get your stuff together and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to figure out exactly how I want to string this. Okay, so I know I want this chain to be one of the strung layers. And the way that I do, let me scoot this up a little bit. The way that I do multi-strand necklaces, and I know it's not how everybody else does it, I lay them out on the table just like this, just like they're going to hang on my body. When I try to use those bead boards and stuff, it just messes me up. And they never turn out right. So this is how I do it. So if I was wearing this necklace, it would hang right about like this. And I'm just going to eyeball, you know, so this chain strand probably right about there. Okay. And then I'm going to cut the chain so it is not so long. I'm going to leave a little extra just in case I wanted to make it longer, but I think that's probably where I want it to go. We'll see. We can always shorten it a little bit. So here's our chain strand. Okay. Now I can decide how I want to bead this. Now I know I want these big beads to be on the bottom row. So that's going to be this outside row here. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out like I want them to go. And there are so many beads in this box. I mean, look, there's just tons of them. So you don't have to worry about running out. Really, you don't. There's so many. So for this outside row, I want it to hang a little bit below, but not too far below my chain strand. Okay. So I'm just going to arrange these a little bit. Now we will, you know, we'll do this more scientifically here in a few minutes, but this is how I like to do it at first because it kind of gives you just an idea of what you want to happen. So I'm not sure what beads I want to put in between these yet. And I'm probably going to make them links with these eye pins. I may string some of them, and I'm going to do eye pin links with some of the others, so we'll see. Okay, so for my top row, I want this pendant to hang in here. And I may do something hanging down here like this. Let me scoot this up. I want you to be able to see everything I'm doing. Let me raise the camera just a bit. Okay, that's better. So I know I want this guy to hang in here in the middle, probably right about there. And I'm probably going to do something hanging down here. So turning this bead this way and putting some other beads with it. Now I have these twist beads, and I think because I don't want them to be right on the other side of, so I've got these big beads here. I'm going to do a small strand in between the chain and the big, or in between the chain and this next row. So I don't want to put big beads on this next row is what I'm saying. So I've got my chain here. I want to put, I've got the big row, the chain, and I want to put a smaller strand in here on this middle row. Okay. So I have these beautiful triangle cut beads, which would look really pretty in there. And these really pretty rice beads. And this is kind of how I design it. I just lay it out and look and see how I like everything to go, and then we'll put it together. But you kind of have to get an idea of what you're doing first. Okay, so then I've got these guys, these twist beads here. And once you kind of get an idea of what you're doing, then you can finalize it and make it hang the way you want it to hang and all of that. I like those in there. Let me grab another. Get my beads out over here. I'm telling you, there was so much stuff in this box. It's unbelievable. Okay, so let's see, him here. I'm not sure how I want to make these lay. I know I want one of these on either side up here. So we'll scoot down everybody. Okay, there we go. And there. Okay, so that, and then I'm going to need this top row here, and I think I'm going to hang the pendant from it, like right about there. So the top row, I think I want to do the black and these teal ones on the top row. And so this is kind of what I do. I just lay it out and I get a look at how I want it to be. So this row down here needs something. It's too solid color, too light. Oh, I forgot the turquoise beads. Okay, we may just put them in there. I forgot all about them. And I know it looks like a hot mess right now, but trust me, it's going to come together, I promise. So that looks pretty good. Now I do want to put some of these teal ones down here. That's the one thing that I know I want to do. Okay, and possibly some of the black, because I kind of want to draw, but I may just put the black on this focal, because I kind of want to draw the black down. I may add some of the black in. We'll see. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and string it up. So I want to start with my bottom strand when I'm stringing, because that's going to be the longest one, okay? So I think I am just going to string this one instead of doing... Do I want to, though? I really kind of want to do eye pin lengths. Okay, let's look at this. So do I want to put some of my black ones down in here? I think I do. Yeah, it makes it look better. It's drawing the black down there and it looks a lot better. Grab some more of these guys. And there were so many beads in this bag, you guys. There were gray. There was, I mean, I could have gone with so many more colors. That's one thing I had different beads. I had such a hard time deciding which ones to choose because there were so many and I liked them all. So that was really kind of hard. Okay, so let's do this. For our bottom strand, let's do a black bead. Now I kind of want to use the bead caps on these because these are really, so I would like to do a bead cap. Let's try this. A bead cap facing that black bead and a bead cap facing away from that black bead. Like that. See how it gives it this little decorative kind of element there? I like that. And then I'm going to put my big bead on, and it also cups the big bead. So it's just really pretty. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the bead cap facing the big bead, the bead cap facing away, and my teal bead. Just like that. And I like that little element there. I think that's going to be cute. Okay, so the way I make my loop is I've got my loop down there. I'm going to bend this 90 degrees, just like that. I am going to trim it off, and I don't like huge loops, so I trim about, I don't know, my finger's width or maybe a little bit less. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I try to do it the same place on the round nose pliers every time. So you just kind of, you can even mark it with a marker if you want, but there's my little loop. Okay. So I'm not going to worry right now about the direction that the loops are facing. We'll worry about that in just a minute. So there's my one link. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that all the way down through here with the black bead. I'm going to do the same exact little link all the way. Okay, so go ahead and make your links and then come on back. Okay, one thing I neglected to mention that I need to mention is these are 2-inch eye pins. I think they're about 21 gauge, but they are 2-inch. So for these links, you're going to need kind of a longer eye pin. If you don't have a longer eye pin, it's no big deal. Just make your link smaller. Just do like the big bead on one and then the small bead on one, and you know, you can adjust it that way. But yeah, you do kind of need a longer, and I didn't realize that at first, and then I was like, wait a minute, this next eye pin's not as big. They're not going on there. So that's why you've got to have a longer eye pin, and I'm actually don't have too many of those, so they're a little more unusual to come by, I think, than the smaller ones. So see, I have a lot of the smaller ones, but I don't have that many of the 2-inch. So if you don't, just go ahead and do something, you know, do a different size link. It really doesn't matter. It's not going to, you know, affect really your necklace all that much. You can do smaller links. So I wanted to mention that because I just happened to notice when I tried to do the next one that these are really long eye pins, and I didn't realize that they were that long, and the rest of mine are not that long. So I'm having to kind of sort through and pick out the 2-inch ones out of here. If I can find some more, we'll see. But anyway, if you need to make shorter links, just make shorter links, okay? Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these links that I've created, and for the middle link, I'm using my eye pin, and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing the black on both ends, and then we're going to make a little dangle. So I'm just going to do the same thing that I've been doing. And actually, I'm going to make this loop up here kind of bigger, and I'll show you why. Because we are going to hook the other loops onto this one. Kind of like a Y necklace, okay? So here's what we've got. And then I'm going to take a ball head pin, and if you don't have a ball head pin, it is no big deal, just use a regular head pin. But I'm going to take a ball head pin, and I'm going to put this little bead here on it. And I'm going to make a wrapped loop. So we're going to go up from the bead just a little bit. Okay. We're going to go 90 degrees. And then I'm going to take my round nose plier and grab in that bend and come up and over. So it makes kind of a question mark look. See that little question mark? Okay, and then I rotate my pliers up. They were horizontal. I'm rotating them vertical, and I'm going around underneath to create the little loop. Now I want to go ahead and stick this on here right now before I wrap it. I could open the eye pin, but after I've already created the link, I kind of hate to, just because, I don't know, I'd rather just do it this way. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to take my finger or my hand and wrap this, and then you can use your pliers. You can come in with your pliers if you need to. And I'm just wrapping around several times, oops, creating just a little wrapped loop. And then I'm just going to tuck this in. So I've come around several times. I come around to the end and just tuck this so it's not sticking out. And there we have a little link with a dangle on the bottom. I'm just going to make sure that my little pin is tucked, or my little snag that was sticking out there is all tucked in. It's not going to catch on anything. And there's what we've got. So this is my bottom row. Now, it's kind of up to you how you want to do this, because it depends on how you like your necklaces to hang. So I want, you know, it's about, let me measure it and we'll see how long it is. So we're about 7, so probably about 14 inches this way. And then this little guy here is about 1.5 inches, I would say, or 2 inches, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my jump rings now, and I'm going to hook all of these together, hook it on this outer layer, and then hook these to this one. So I'm not going to hook these with the jump ring. I'm just going to open this up, hook it right on here, close it up, and same on this other side, okay? But the rest of them I'm going to hook together with jump rings. I just like to do that. I like the way that they lay better when they're hooked together with jump rings. I just feel like it makes it lay a lot better. Okay, so there's our middle piece right there. And then I'm going to hook all these together with jump rings and hook it on up here with a jump ring. So go ahead and do that. Come right on back. Okay, so here is my first row. Now the good thing about doing it this way is this is the length that you're going to have for the beaded part of your necklace. Okay, now you can make the top part when we do the sari silk, you can make that however long you want it to be. And you can with this too, but this gives you a guide. So now this is my longest strand. So now I kind of know to come in here and do my next strand. So I took all the beads out because it was just too much to look at on there all at once. But if I want to do my chain strand next, then I can lay this out and measure just exactly like it would lay, and I can see where I want my chain strand to go. Okay, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do the chain strand next or if I want to do another row of maybe the smaller beads. I think I may do a row of the smaller beads. So these little triangle and rice beads, I really like these. They're so pretty. Get him out of there. And maybe the black ones as well. And I'm going to string these. I'm not going to do eye pin links for everything, but I kind of wanted that on the bottom row. I just like the way it looks. So I'm going to string these up. And do I want to mix some of the blue in? Because I can, if I want to. I think I'm just going to do a strand of the silvers. I'm not even going to mix the black in, I think. We're just going to do the silvers together. They're really pretty. And there are so many beads in this box. I just can't get over how many beads are in this box. It's really an amazing deal. Okay. So there are some of my triangle beads and my little silver rice beads. Okay. And I'm just going to string them up by themselves, I think. So we've got our bead stringing wire here. So I just want to measure, you know, kind of how I want it to lay, and you need to leave enough to finish your ends. Don't forget that. So I'm going to cut this right about here, and I will tell you how long this is. Sorry for the banging. So this is right about 13 inches. Okay, and this one we said was about 14, with the dangle adding another 1.5 inches or 2 inches to it. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to use a bead bug. Let me grab a bead bug out of here. If you're not familiar with bead bugs, these are the best things ever invented right here. Okay, they really are. So you just put this on this end and then all your beads don't fall off. Awesome, right? Okay, so we're just going to take and I'm just going to go ahead and string this up. I kind of want to do this randomly and not do a pattern with it. So I'm just going to kind of grab them and string it. I'm not going to do a pattern. I'm just going to do it very random. Just as I pick them up, put them on. See, just like that. And it's just going to be a sparkly silver strand. So go ahead, string up your next strand, making it, you know, kind of as long as you want it. It's your own creative control in this part completely, these lengths. I can tell you what I do, but it totally depends on how you like your necklaces to hang as to what you do. So just go ahead and string up your next little strand here, and come on back and we'll attach it. Okay, so my beaded length on this right now is right at 10 inches, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach my ends. So let's move in here. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here with the crimping, because a lot of people have trouble with crimping. And I didn't mention that we need our crimping pliers, but we do. And these are Xuron crimpers. It's my favorite ones. Okay, so I'm going to take a wire guardian and a crimp tube. I'm in way too far. Let me come out a little bit. You're not going to be able to see anything but my hand. Okay, so we're putting the crimp tube on first on the chain. Then we'll do our wire guard. Okay. And we're coming up and around the wire guard with our wire. Just like that. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach it on. And now you can see why I have the bead bug on the other end, because it's going to keep everything from falling off. And then I'm going to go back through my crimp tube and a few of my beads. And then I'm just going to pull this right up. I'm going to take this wire guard and I'm going to smush it in just a little bit. And yes, that is a technical term. Smushing it. And then I'm just going to crimp this. So I try to hold my wires so they're not crossed, so that they're side by side here, okay? You are going to lay this in the back divot of your crimping pliers. The very, very, very back little, well, let's do this. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3 little holes, and then there's that divot. See that back divot right there? That's where you want your crimp to go right now. You're going to lay it in there, scoot everything up, and mash firmly. Okay, and you want to mash firmly, and when you do, it creates a little channel, and the wire goes in either side. Okay, then we're going to turn our crimpers vertically, and I usually go in the second of the little round, I usually go in the second one of the little things there. I don't know what they're called. And I put my crimp in there, and I just close it right up. And there you have the perfect little crimp, okay? I'm going to scoop my beads over the tail on this wire. Just tucking it into the beads. You could trim it off. I don't like to trim it off right up there by the crimp. I like to have a little safety net here. I'm going to take it off of this side. Now, what you want to do is you want to lay this out and just have a look, okay? So I'm going to lay this out. Let me come back out a little. Like this would be on my body. And I know that not everybody likes to do it this way. A lot of people like to use the bead thing, and that is fine. But I do so much better if I do it this way. They always come out right if I do it this way. If I use that beadboard thing, they never come out right. And as you can see up here, I have a little bit of room left. So these are laying level. You make sure these are level, and it's just curved like it would be if it was on you. And I've got a little room left, so I'm going to add a few more beads on. And again, I just picked them up completely random. I did not do any pattern at all. Just picked them up, and whatever I picked up is what went on there, okay? And I might add one more. Okay. And then when I crimp this closed and have it, it's going to hang right about right here, which is what I want. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this side that I did on the other side. I'm putting on my crimp tube, okay? Putting on my wire guardian. Coming up and over with my wire in the wire guardian. The wire guardian just keeps your wire from rubbing on your metal components. It's just a protector, just to keep the wire from getting frayed a little bit quicker than, you know, it would if you didn't have it. But it's not a necessity at all, guys. You don't have to have the wire guard. You can crimp without it. And then I'm going to put this back through, and then I'm just going to take this tail and pull up and make sure that everything is tight and we don't have any, you know, big gaps or anything. Pick it up, See how it hangs. That's pretty much exactly where I want it to hang, okay? Just pick it up and look at it. Now, this is a little stiff. I'm going to loosen this a little. I don't want my beads to be quite that stiff. I want them to have more movement in there. That's better. Okay, so just play around with that a little bit. You don't want your beads to be poker straight. I mean, you don't want a big gap in there either, but you want them to have a little bit of room for movement and not look weird, because they kind of look weird when they're all poker straight. There's no room for anything to move. Okay, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm just making sure that there's enough room that everybody is not too crowded. There we go. You want it to look natural and not be poker, you know, stick straight out. Okay, so that's pretty good right there. So now I'm just going to crimp the same thing that I did on the other side. I'm going to bend my wire guard in a little bit. And you don't have to do that either. I just like to do that. I don't know why even. I feel like it makes it look a little bit better. And then I'm just going to lay in the back divot and crimp down. Now, you can't always make sure that your wires aren't crossed on this side. It's a little more difficult to, you know, if you can do it. If you can't, it's not that huge big of a deal. And then it's a little fiddly to get this turned sideways in here. There we go. I am going to, and then just close it right up there. Okay, and then you can trim your little tail. And there we have it. So there's our second row. Just like that. Okay, and see how that hangs? That hangs exactly where I wanted it to hang. I just do better doing it like this. Okay, now we're going to work on our third row. I think for my third row, I might do the chain. And I thought about even doubling the chain. Do I want to do that? I kind of like the look of doubling the chain. So let's decide how long we want this to be. Again, laying everything out just like that. I'm going to hook this on with a jump ring and come right up and around here. This one's a little more fiddly because it wants to move. But you just get a roundabout and then you can adjust it if you need to. So I'm going to trim this right here. And I will tell you how long it measures. Okay. So if you're doing it the exact same as me, you're going to measure that right at about 9.5 inches. Okay, and I'm going to do 2. So I'm going to take my head pin. I'm going to hang the end of this chain on it. I'm going to hang the end of this chain on it. And then I can measure it like this. Just lay it out. And that way you don't have to sit and count links, okay? You can just lay them side by side, hooked on an eye pin on one end, and trim it right up here. And there's my chain. And if you ended up with 1 link extra, which I didn't, but you might, so just so you can trim it up. Okay, now I've got my chain here, so I'm going to take my little 4mm jump ring. I kind of like the idea of doubling the chain for some reason. I'm going to take my little jump ring. I'm going to hang both pieces of chain on here. 1 and 2. And I'm going to hook it right here. Whoops. That didn't go over so well, did it? Let's fix that. And one thing about this chain strand that's good is, you know, you can adjust it as much as you need to. So there's the one side. I'm just going to pull it straight, grab my jump ring for the next side. And do the same thing. Hook it on over here. All right, just like that. Close it up. And there's what we've got. Oh, I like it so far. Okay. Now we're going to do a layer or a strand with these guys. I love these beads. They are so, so pretty. And what do I want to mix with them? I know I decided this a minute ago, but I always change my mind. Always. Never fails. So I think I might mix these with them because I really like those together. All right. So now what we need to do is lay this back out on our table. Okay. I am going to grab my bead stringing wire, making sure these are even. You want to make sure that these are even across here, okay? So you know, this one's not way up here and this one down here, because that would kind of mess things up. Take your bead stringing wire, and I'm just going to cut a length of it. Okay. And we're going to bead this side up. So I'm going to put my bead bug on. Now, I have to decide, do I want to use any bead caps in this? I don't. Let's see. This guy's going to hang up here. Probably about right there. I think I'm just going to string this up, and I think I'm just going to do it just alternating these beads. So one teal and one of this cracked glass looking one. And I think I'm just going to alternate these back and forth like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Keep it simple, because there's a lot going on in this necklace. So we're going to keep this one kind of simple. And I'm just going to string them up until I get the length that I need. And then I'm going to attach it just the same way that we just did with the crimps and the wire guards. So go ahead, string this strand up and attach it on and come right on back. Okay, so I did want to say that the beaded section of this strand is right at 7.5 inches long, okay? So if you're doing yours just the same as me, we've got a 7.5 inch bead strand here. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach this the same way using my wire guard and my crimp. Whoops. I love the beads in this. This is so pretty. Of course, this is one of my favorite colors is teal and blues, and you know, so this box was just stunningly beautiful in my opinion. And I can't even believe how many beads are in this box. It's an insane amount of beads, and they're full strands. They're like 15 inch. I think the smallest strand, if I'm not mistaken, was 12 inches. And that's amazing for a bead box. So you guys need to check this out. In the description, I will have the link for the notifications. You have to get on her notification list because this box is, like I said, it's sold out. They sell out really fast. So you want to get it quickly if you can. When she notifies that there's a new box out, you want to go ahead and jump right on it. And I'm just going to tuck this little wire in here into the beads. Scoot all the beads up. And we'll go ahead and do this side. And we're going to put our crimp on, wire guard. And why do you not want to go in there? There we go. Oh, I love these teal electroplated beads. They are so sparkly. That electroplating or luster. It's like a luster plating. They're so pretty. Just beautiful. Okay, we're going to take this one right through here. Come back through our beads. And again, I'm going to pull this tight, but I want to make room, make sure that my beads have a little room for movement and it's not poker straight, because when you get it poker straight, it's just really weird looking. It lays at unnatural angles. So you want to pick this up, hold it, you know, make sure that everything's laying the way that you want it to, and then crimp. But make sure that that you have a little room there for your beads to move. All right, we're going to crimp that right down. Turn it vertically in here and close it right up. I used to have so much trouble crimping, and one of the reasons was I was using really inexpensive crimp beads and tubes. They were these Chinese, from one of the Chinese websites, and they just, not that I have anything against the Chinese websites, I do not, but I'm just saying that they were not really high quality. And when I bought high quality crimps, and I buy them from Beadalon or usually Softflex or Beadalon, it changed the whole game with the crimping thing for me. It became so much easier. So if you're having trouble crimping, make sure you're using good quality crimps. Okay, so we are on our last layer here, our last strand. And I definitely want to use this guy right here. Now I haven't used any of these turquoise beads yet, so I may pull some of them in. I really like them. They're so pretty. Oh, and I haven't used my twist beads yet either. Oh my goodness. Okay, we have to use those here too. There were so many beads in this box that I was like, I mean, I can make a 10-layer necklace and still not use all the beads that I wanted to. They're so pretty. All of them are. Okay, so this little strand is not going to be super long, obviously, because it's going to have the dangle piece. And we are going to use the twist beads. And I wonder if I should do links like I did here. So let's take a look here. I kind of want to pull in a couple of the bead caps too, but not a lot of them. So let's take a look here. If I do this and this, if I just do these two beads on a link, go ahead and when you hook these links together with jump rings, that's another good thing about hooking them together with jump rings. You don't have to worry about the way that your loops are turned. It doesn't matter if you hook them together with jump rings because they just kind of flow. All right, so then I would do another of these and this guy. All right, roll that back. So there's those two. Now, let's see. I kind of want to do some bead caps here with these beads and hang this in the middle. So let's do that. Let's take your eye pin, okay, just like this, and I'm going to do a bead cap, turquoise bead, and a bead cap. I'm going to, oh, I can't do that. This pendant's turned the wrong way to do that. Okay, so, how am I going to do this? Because I don't want the wire to show. I guess, yeah. I'm just going to do this little link here. And we're going to hang this the same as we did on the bottom. As in the Y kind of configuration. That way it will hang correctly. So I'm going to do this. I will hang him on just like that. And then we're going to do the other side. So bead cap, turquoise bead, bead cap. And the reason I wanted to use the bead caps just on the middle, number one, I ran out of bead caps. And number two, it just kind of gives it a little bit of a focal, like it brings some attention right there to that middle part. So, you know, when you look at this, the bead caps are just there. They're going to kind of pull the attention right here to this. So that's one reason that I did that. Okay. Now we need to do our others over here. I've got so many things laying out on my table. So let's go right here. And the good thing about doing these little links like this instead of a bead stringing wire is you can really kind of adjust, you know, how you want it to lay and the length and all that. It's very adjustable when you're doing it like this. All right. And I will need to make sure that I've got everybody going in the same direction here. So let me go ahead and make this loop, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so I've got turquoise bead, twist bead, turquoise bead, twist bead, and 2 turquoise. I just wanted to make sure that I had them laying in the same direction. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we're going to take our jump rings. Now I'm going to take this middle piece here, and I'm going to hook this together just like I did on that bottom piece. I'm just going to hook it right to this pendant. Okay, close that up. Take this guy, hook it right to the pendant. Close that up. Make sure that they're hanging correctly, and this is in the front. That is important. And then I'm going to hook these with the jump rings, I think. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to take my jump rings, little old jump rings here, and I'm just going to hook everybody together. So there's one. Whoops. What did I do? Pulled him right off. And you want to kind of keep this laid out. So every time you hook one on, lay it back out to where it's laying correctly and nothing's twisted up, because you don't want your pendant to end up hanging backwards with the rhinestone in the back. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so just hook these on. And as you hook them on, lay it out and just make sure that everybody's laying correctly, because, yeah, you don't want it to end up backwards. All right, now I'm just trying to make sure that my length here is good. So I'm going to hook these two on with the jump rings together like this, and then I'm going to hook the top one on just to the piece, because I don't want to add the length for another jump ring. I think I have this middle strand long enough. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and hook these two together right here. And then I'm just going to hook this one directly on. So I'm not going to use a jump ring. Just normally I like to, but I don't want to add the extra length because I don't want this one to be too long. Okay, so close that up. Okay, make sure everybody's hanging correctly. We're good. I think. Yeah. And then add our other one on over here where my jump rings are stuck together. I've told this story before, but Landon, my younger son, when he was about, I don't know, he was probably 12 or 13, went into my bead room one day and hooked together all of my jump rings in the silver ones, the bigger ones. Hooked them all together. And so still to this day, and Landon just turned 21 in October, I still have a whole bunch of silver jump rings that are all hooked together. Thank you, Landon. Yeah, he doesn't even remember doing that. I mentioned it the other day, and he's like, I don't remember that. I'm like, yeah, you did. They're still all hooked together. Okay, so there we go. Wow, this is pretty. So pick it up. Make sure everything is hanging the way it should be. Why does my pendant look look like it's going sideways. Oh, I don't know. It's not. Okay. It looked like it was sideways there for a second. Okay. Now we're going to hook on our sari silk. So you have to decide how long you want this to be. Okay. This is totally up to your own creative control. And it's like, you know, I like these to hang kind of, I want this up around my collarbone. I'm not going to want it to be very long. So what I'm going to do, whoops, is tell you how long this sari silk is to start with. Okay, so this piece right here, I think I did this already, but we're going to make sure. It's about 13.5 inches. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it through here. And this can be a little fiddly, but you can get it to come through here. Just get one of the little pieces started and then pull it through. And like I said, I'm really kind of into the boho shabby chic look, so I like this. If you don't like this, boho shabby chic, you can use chain, you can do whatever you want to do, okay? And I'm just going to pull this completely through. This piece right through here, just like this. Okay, and it will go through. It's just a little, well, I've hit a knot. Maybe it won't go through. It won't go through anymore. I'm going to have to use the other end. I might. Let's see here. Or I could put it through a ring. Let me see. I didn't really want to use this end because it's got this red thread on it. And I wanted that to be kind of hidden, like where they've... I guess I could just pull that out. Let me see if I can just get this red thread off here. I don't really want the red thread showing. And it doesn't seem to be holding this together. It just seems to be like there's a red thread. Oh, maybe it is holding this together. Oh, it is. Okay. I'm going to cut that off because I don't really want that red thread showing, and it doesn't want to go through on the other end. I think it'll go through on this end. So I'm going to cut the red thread piece off, which is going to make that side a little shorter, but that's okay. All right. Now let's see if I can pull this through, because the reason I'm doing this is I really want to just tie a knot or a bow right here. And you just have to get it started through there. And I just kind of poke it through and then hold it with my finger and then grab it with my plier and kind of pull it through. There we go. That's a little bit better. If it won't go through here, I may have to use a ring. Because I kind of, well, maybe I don't need a bow. Maybe I'm just going to do a knot right here. Looks like I'm just going to do a knot because I can't get it to go through there. But that's okay. Yeah, that's super cute. Okay, so tie yourself a knot, an overhand knot. And then I'm just going to do it like that, and I'll show you here in just a minute. I'm going to put a little bit of glue there that will keep that knot from going anywhere. So you won't have to worry about it. But let's go ahead and get this other side through. I love sari silk. I love the shabby chic kind of boho feel that it gives things. Oh, I just think it's so pretty. Okay. Same thing over here. I'm just going to tie an overhanded knot because it's having trouble going through on that other side. So the bow is not going to work. But the overhanded knot will. There we go. All right. Super cute. Now, pull it tight. You want it to be pulled tight. And then I'm just going to take, I've got a little GS Hypo Cement glue here. And I'm just going to, right here on the back, just put a little of the glue on the knot. Just a tiny little bit right here on the back. I'm just going to, it's not going to show, but I want to make sure that, you know, the knot just doesn't go anywhere. So just put a little bit of glue on there. You can use anything. You could use super glue. You could use E6000. This is just GS Hypo Cement. I'm just going to stick it on there. Just on the back where it's not going to show. And that'll just keep that knot from coming undone. And I wish I could get this little thing back in here. This glue. I love this glue. It works really good, but man, it's hard to get this little needle back in the, in the thing sometimes. There we go. Okay. So there it is. And now you can take this. And you can either, if you wanted, see, this is why I like to use jump rings, because that solves that problem. If you wanted to use a toggle clasp or any clasp you could on the back. I think I'm just going to leave it to tie. I think it's super pretty just to tie a bow like this in the back. And I don't wear my hair up much, so nobody's really going to see it. But I think the bow is so pretty. It's just chic, shabby chic, and so cute. So that's what we're going to do here. We're just going to tie this bow in the back. And that is going to be our finished necklace. And that's going to be used for our clasp. It's just a bow in the back. Yeah, I really like that. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're not going to be long enough for that. Let me hold it up and see. Sometimes, let's see. Yeah, actually, I think I can get the bow in the back without it being too short. Because I want it short. I mean, I want it to be, I don't want this to be super long. This is not meant to be a super long necklace. So, yeah, the little bow is going to work in the back, I think. Let me see. It's kind of, why am I having trouble tying a bow? I don't know why I'm having trouble tying a bow right now. I should not be. There we go. Like, what is wrong with me? I can't seem to tie a bow today. I've done all kinds of stuff today. I've done resin. I've done all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it with the bow. But if you wanted to do the toggle or a lobster or anything like that, you could take it through and just tie it like we did. I don't know. Maybe I will go ahead and put the toggle on. So just like we did on the other end, just take this through. Take it right through here. And you can tie it in just a little overhanded knot, the same thing, if it'll go through. And if not, you could put a ring on it and do a lobster. That would work too. So like this, let me show you guys. Because it's not wanting to cooperate with the toggle. Okay, so I've got 2 rings here. These are 12mm jump rings. It will tie very easily around this. Just like you did on the other end. Just a little overhanded knot. Like that. Put a little bit of your glue in it, on it. Let's do the other end. And then we can just insert a lobster clasp. Let me find a lobster. Let me find a gunmetal lobster. Here's a pretty one with some rhinestones on it. That would work, wouldn't it? Sure would. So let's go ahead and let's put our lobster on here. And that's the way that you can use a lobster. You could do the same thing with a toggle if you wanted to use these big jump rings and put your toggle on. But I kind of like this lobster because he's sparkly. Okay, and then tie it up. And you can tie this as long or as short as you want it to be. I'm going to double knot this one on this end. And then I'll just put the glue in. So here you have it. Why won't my lobster open? Because I'm on camera. There we go. All right. So here you have it. Cute little multi-strand necklace. Oh gosh, I love it. It's so boho and shabby chic. I love it so much. And wow, what a great box this is. I've got to say, Gina does a fantastic job of putting these boxes together. I mean, it's just beautiful. So check it out. I will have a link in the description box below this video. And yeah, let's go ahead and put this in the light box and take a look at it. Okay, so welcome to my light box. Here we are. This is where I take pictures of my jewelry. But I think this turned out super pretty. I love it. Oh my goodness, all these colors together. The shabby chic little thing up there, the sari silk. I just love this. This turned out so nice. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching my channel. I really do appreciate you being here and watching me. I know there's a lot of places on YouTube that you could go, so I really do appreciate you being here. And please subscribe if you haven't, and check out Gina's box. It's just amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. So check it out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.